Welcome to my channel StarWire Daily. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. In a world where Hollywood's biggest stars are whispering about miracle weight loss drugs behind closed doors, one brave voice has decided to break the silence in the most vulnerable way possible. Jade Thirlwall, the powerhouse vocalist who once ruled the charts with Little Mix, has just revealed something that will send shockwaves through the entertainment industry. She's battling demons every single day. And this time, it's not about fame, fortune, or heartbreak. It's about a tiny injection that's become Hollywood's worst-kept secret and the daily war she fights against her own mind just to stay away from it. You're 32 years old, you've conquered the music world, you've got millions of fans who look up to you, and yet every morning when you wake up, there's this voice in your head whispering about a quick fix that could change everything. That's the reality Jade Thirlwall is living with right now, and what she's about to reveal will make you question everything you thought you knew about celebrity culture and the price of perfection. In a brutally honest interview with The Guardian that's already making waves across social media, Jade dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. "I have a daily battle with myself not to go on Ozempic," she confessed. And darling, those words hit different when you understand the journey this woman has been on. But here's where the story gets deeper, more complex, and infinitely more heartbreaking. This isn't just about vanity or Hollywood pressure. This is about a woman who's been to hell and back with eating disorders, who's fought tooth and nail to get to a healthy place, and who's now watching the world around her embrace the very thing that could destroy all her progress. I don't judge people that do, but because I have a history of eating disorders, I don't know where taking something like that would end for me. Jade explained, and honey, the vulnerability in those words is absolutely staggering. Let's rewind for a moment and talk about who Jade Thirlwall really is, because this story is so much bigger than just another celebrity talking about Ozempic. This is the same woman who stood on stages around the world as part of Little Mix, one of the most successful girl groups in British history. She was the voice behind anthems that made millions of young women feel empowered, feel beautiful, feel unstoppable. But behind that confident exterior, behind those powerhouse vocals and that infectious smile, Jade was fighting a battle that her fans never knew about. The truth? During her Little Mix days, when she was supposed to be living her best life, Jade was actually at her lowest. She's now looking back at photos from that era with a completely different perspective, and what she sees is heartbreaking. I didn't think it at the time, but when I look back at photos of periods when I was quite unhappy, I think, wow, girlie, you were very, very thin, she revealed, and the pain in those words is palpable. But here's what makes this story even more compelling. Jade has identified the pattern, the toxic cycle that she's been caught in for years. Historically, if I've ever felt that something is out of my control, then restricting food has been a means of controlling my life in a very toxic way, she admitted. And suddenly everything clicks into place. This isn't just about food or weight or appearance. This is about control, about finding stability in chaos, about a coping mechanism that nearly destroyed her. Now fast forward to today. Jade is 32. She's launched her solo career. She's in the healthiest place she's ever been mentally and physically, and yet the world around her is obsessed with this new miracle drug. Ozempic is everywhere. Celebrities are getting thinner by the month. Social media is buzzing with before and after photos, and the pressure is intense. But here's what makes Jade's situation so unique and so dangerous. She knows exactly what this could do to her. And if that wasn't challenging enough, Jade is dealing with something that would break most people. Now I'm in my 30s and the healthiest I've ever been. But every time I post a picture, there are comments saying, "She must be pregnant," "She revealed," and ladies, can we just take a moment to acknowledge how absolutely devastating that must be? Here's a woman who's finally found peace with her body, who's worked incredibly hard to overcome her eating disorders, and she's being criticized for looking healthy and normal. But perhaps the most heartbreaking part of all of this is what Jade revealed about who's making these comments. The sad thing is that it's usually women, she said, and that observation cuts deep. We're living in a world where women are tearing each other down for not conforming to impossible standards, where recovery and health are being mistaken for weakness or letting yourself go. Remember, this is the same Jade who was part of a group that built their entire brand on empowerment. Little Mix wasn't just about catchy pop songs and synchronized dance moves. They were about celebrating every body type, about encouraging young women to love themselves exactly as they are. Little Mix fans were all about empowerment and celebrating your body however you look, Jade reflected, and the irony is not lost on any of us. What Jade's story reveals is something much bigger than one celebrity's struggle with weight loss medication. This is about an entire culture that's become obsessed with quick fixes, with pharmaceutical solutions to problems that might be better addressed through therapy, self-acceptance, and genuine health practices. When someone with Jade's platform and influence admits to battling the urge to take Ozempic every single day, it forces us to examine what we've created as a society. But let's talk about the incredible courage it took for Jade to share this story. In an industry where vulnerability is often seen as weakness, where admitting to struggles can end careers, she chose to be completely transparent about her daily battle. She could have stayed silent, could have privately struggled with these urges without anyone knowing. Instead, she's chosen to be a voice for everyone who's fighting similar battles. Everyone who's feeling the pressure to conform to unrealistic standards. And Jade's concerns aren't unfounded. Medical professionals have been increasingly vocal about the potential risks of GLP-1 medications like Ozempic for people with histories of eating disorders. These medications don't just suppress appetite. They can trigger behaviors and thought patterns that mirror disordered eating. For someone like Jade, who's identified food restriction as her go-to coping mechanism during stressful times, the risks are very real. Think about this timeline for a moment. Just a few years ago, Jade was performing on stages worldwide, seemingly at the peak of her career, while secretly battling an eating disorder that was making her dangerously thin. Now, in 2025, she's healthier than she's ever been, but she's fighting a completely different battle against the same underlying impulses. It's a reminder that recovery isn't a destination. It's an ongoing journey that requires constant vigilance and incredible strength. What Jade's revelation also highlights is the current state of the entertainment industry. We're living in an era where Ozempic has become as common as lip fillers or Botox among celebrities. The pressure to maintain a certain appearance has intensified to levels we've never seen before, and the tools available to achieve those appearances have become more powerful and more dangerous. But here's what I find most powerful about Jade's story. She's not just sharing her struggles. She's actively working to redefine what strength looks like. By admitting that she fights this urge every day, she's showing us that true strength isn't about never having dark thoughts or difficult moments. True strength is about acknowledging those moments and choosing to fight against them anyway. And let's talk about what this means for her fans, for the millions of people who grew up listening to Little Mix's empowering anthems. Jade's honesty is giving them permission to be honest about their own struggles, to admit that they're not perfect, that they're fighting battles too. In a world of carefully curated Instagram feeds and flawless public appearances, Jade's vulnerability is revolutionary. The reality is that medications like Ozempic can be life-changing for people with diabetes and obesity-related health conditions. But they can also be dangerous when used inappropriately or by people with certain mental health histories. Jade's decision to stay away from these medications, despite the daily temptation, is likely protecting her from potentially triggering a relapse into disordered eating patterns. What's particularly striking about Jade's comments is how they highlight the absurdity of our current beauty standards. Here's a woman who's achieved international success, who has millions of fans, who's talented beyond measure, and yet she's still feeling pressure to be thinner. If someone like Jade Thirlwall isn't immune to these pressures, what does that say about the impossible standards we're setting for everyone else? But there's something incredibly hopeful about Jade's story too. The fact that she can look back at old photos and recognize when she was struggling shows incredible growth and self-awareness. The fact that she's willing to fight against harmful urges every day shows a commitment to her health that goes far beyond appearances. This is what real recovery looks like. Not a perfect, linear journey, but a daily choice to choose health over harmful patterns. Jade's confession comes at a time when the conversation around body image and weight loss medications is reaching a fever pitch. Celebrities from every corner of Hollywood are either admitting to using these drugs or being speculated about constantly. By being so open about her decision not to use them, despite the temptation, Jade is providing a different narrative, a different path forward. Think about the personal cost of what Jade is dealing with. Every day, she wakes up knowing that there's a medication that could make her conform to current beauty standards more easily. Every day, she has to actively choose the harder path, the path of self-acceptance and natural health. That's not easy, and it's certainly not glamorous, but it's incredibly brave. What Jade has done by sharing this story is create space for other people to share their struggles too. She's shown that it's okay to admit when you're struggling, okay to acknowledge when you're tempted by harmful behaviors, okay to choose the harder but healthier path. That kind of leadership and vulnerability can literally save lives. As we move forward in this age of pharmaceutical interventions for weight loss, we need more voices like Jade's. We need people who are willing to talk openly about the complexities, the risks, and the alternatives. We need conversations that go beyond simple before and after photos and dive into the psychological and emotional realities of these decisions. Jade Thirlwall's story isn't just about one person's relationship with weight loss medication. It's a mirror reflecting our collective obsession with perfection, our tendency to seek quick fixes for complex problems, and our failure to prioritize mental health alongside physical appearance. But it's also a story of hope, of someone choosing the harder but healthier path, of someone using their platform to start important conversations. At the end of the day, Jade's daily battle with herself isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of incredible strength. Every day, she chooses not to take that medication, despite the temptation, despite the pressure, despite the comments about her body. She's choosing her long-term health and well-being over short-term aesthetic goals. That's the kind of strength we need more of in this world. Her story reminds us that true beauty isn't about conforming to whatever standard is trending this year. True beauty is about being authentic, being vulnerable, being willing to share your struggles so that others don't feel alone in theirs. Jade Thirlwall is beautiful not because of her size or her appearance, but because of her courage, her honesty, and her commitment to her own healing journey. What do you think about Jade's brave confession? Have you ever felt similar pressures about your body or appearance? Her story has certainly got us all thinking about the way we talk about bodies, health, and beauty in our culture. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you, and these conversations are so important to keep having. If Jade's story resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more honest, in-depth looks at the stories behind the headlines. We're here every week bringing you the real conversations that matter, the ones that go beyond surface-level gossip to explore what these celebrity stories really mean for all of us. Until next time, remember that your worth isn't measured by a number on a scale or your adherence to whatever beauty standard is trending. You're enough, exactly as you are.